What's your hot take on Japan?
My hot take on Japan is
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure you have one.
incredible. But my hot take is that
Allison, look at us. We hit the record button.
we're
We did
finally
it.
doing this. We've talked about this for so long and we're finally making it happen.
I know. I love it. I guess this is the first official Travel Hot Takes podcast conversation that we are recording. That's more than just an idea. But, obviously, we're both travel advisors. We work in very similar ways. We have our own little specific differences and niches, obviously. But I think, we have such similar backgrounds and upbringings and kind of interesting paths. So I thought this would be a fun thing for us to take on together.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think that the name Travel Hot Takes is apt because we have some strong opinions.
I know, we definitely do. Allison and I are both from New York City. We're both outer boroughs, both born in Brooklyn. Allison stayed there much longer. I moved to Staten Island as a wee young thing, but I stayed in New York my whole life and still live there now. And Allison is in San Diego, so we get to see each other a few times during the year, like at conferences or whatnot. We've only met IRL actually a few times now, but I feel like we know each other way better than that.
Yeah, twice. I feel like we've only been together twice at like the two conferences that we went to.
I know that's very
I,
strange because
and the first time I met you, though, I was like, we really haven't met in person because we just Zoomed so much. We'd been on like similar, like the same meetings. And I don't know. I just feel like we're kindred spirits, if you
I
will.
know, and I definitely feel like kindred spirits. I know we have a lot of the same opinions, just kind of based on the New York City no BS of it all, right? I mean, I think that's something that, for better or for worse, you're going to hear what we think about something, which I think is always, the way to be in this world, right? People like honesty. We don't always want to hear it, but you're going to get it either way.
It's true.
Oops.
But you may not want to hear it, but it will probably be what's best for you.
That is very true. Let's talk about some fun travel things. I cannot wait to hear about your recent trip. Tell everyone where you went. I mean, all right, I'm going to spoil it. And you went to Japan because I
I did.
followed your story. I followed all of your photos. But Japan has such a special place in your heart, I know, and significance. So tell me about it. I want to hear.
It does. Yeah. So this was my third trip to Japan. I first went to Japan about 18 years ago. And then I went again 2 years ago and just went back with my son. So I love Japan as a country in general, but I have a very strong ties there because when my mother was in Girl Scouts in the 60s, she had a pen pal. It was part of like the program, pen pal named Keiko. And they stayed friends, my mom's and like their entire lives. Keiko would come to New York and visit us. She's like a very accomplished artist. So she would have like gallery showings. And so I grew up knowing. And then my mom passed away when I was a teenager. But I wound up keeping in touch with Keiko. She became like my pen pal almost.
Oh, I
So
love that.
I went to visit her. And then when my son was born, I went to visit again. And my
Ah, I
son
love
fell
it.
in love so much that we decided to go back, just the two of us together without my husband. So the crux of this trip was a anime hologram concert that my son really wanted to go to. And I
Oh my
said,
gosh, I
okay,
need to hear more.
okay. So you had to enter a lottery to get a ticket. So I was like, okay, I'll enter the lottery. And if I win, we'll go to Japan. And I wasn't so sure that we were going to win, but spoiler alert, we won. So then we planned it all. And the last time we went, we had just spent 10 days in Tokyo. It was my son's first big trip abroad. And I wasn't sure if he was going to be comfortable. He did fantastic. He loved it. So this time we expanded beyond Tokyo. We went to Kyoto, we went to Osaka. We took a day trip to Uji, which is the birthplace of matcha. And we did a whole like matcha
Wow.
experience. And then, of course, the highlight was this concert, which was crazy. It was like 5,000 people, maybe more, in a room with light sticks and kimonos and just like singing along to this anime character who looked like they were 3D on the stage dancing around. It was
Well,
like a
that is
whole
so
group of
cool.
them. crazy. And the voices are like completely computer generated, but it was a very cool experience.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I'm sure your son is going to remember that forever. I mean, this is really, they talk about making memories, but I think we just made some memories there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're already talking about going back. And he was just so happy the entire time. Like every photo, he was grinning ear to ear. And so everyone that saw my photos, like on Instagram stories or whatever, they would message me and be like, oh my God, he looks like he's having the time of his life. And he really was. And it was also just a super wonderful bonding experience for us because my son
Yeah, oh
has
my
always
gosh.
been like very close with my husband. They're very personality wise are the same. So this was really nice just to have like 10 interrupted days, just the two of us and spending time together. And it was wonderful.
I love it. I have to get to Japan. Okay, spoiler, I haven't even been to Asia yet. So Japan is very up there for me. Thailand is very up there for me. You know, I'm all about Europe. I'm going to say Italy every 17th word in this podcast, unfortunately. Warning for everyone. I'm going to talk a lot about Italy. It's just a destination that I've been to many times and have done a big deep dive on. And obviously, I've not been everywhere, but I've been to a lot of different regions and is one of my destinations that I keep loving to go back to. And speaking of Italy, I was just at Virtuoso Travel Week, which is in Las Vegas, but it's a huge luxury travel conference, part of our network, where all of our suppliers from around the world are coming. And it's where we really strengthen those partnerships, right? So it's, we get to know about new hotels that are opening, new products that become available. And it's also where we build those one on one relationships. So when we have clients staying at a hotel or on a specific cruise line, we know that we have a direct person that is looking out for them on our behalf. And I got to see so many of my partners in Italy, in Las Vegas, that had come in for this conference. So it's friends that I've traveled with before. I went on this incredible trip earlier this year where I got to visit Florence and Venice with a stop in Ferrara along the way with my partners at IC Bellagio, which is a fantastic destination management company. They basically, you can find tours or whatnot on Google to go do in Italy or whichever destination. But when you work with a company like that, they know people on the ground that are able to make things happen that we don't even know to be searching for. I mean, you could find, sure, oh, food tour, like a small group walking tour, and those are incredible. You'll have an incredible time. But if you have just you and your party and a private guide and an off the beaten path restaurant, or maybe it's in someone's home, or we did a cooking class in Florence where we literally the window, the curtains went up and we were over the Ponte Vecchio looking out and making fresh pasta. It was like absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's great making those relationships and obviously continuing to build them and foster the ones that we have. And learning, oh my gosh, there was, aside from just Italy, one of my favorite things that I learned about is there's an incredible department store in Paris. And I did not know this, but there is a private apartment in this store, and you go up to this apartment and you can make a 3 or 4 hour appointment or however long. And this is for like real shoppers, where they
Yeah.
basically curate an entire private experience for our clients. So they can go if they know what types of things they want to see beforehand. You could share that information, but they'll go out and have a glass of champagne. They have a personal shopper getting things for them. And then after they do all their shopping, whatever they purchase, they hand all the tax forms so you can get the VAT refund before you leave the country. And then they'll even deliver it back to your hotel and they'll even provide your transfer to and from the hotel. So it's a very VIP shopping thing and a hidden gem that I didn't even know about, but completely why I like going to conferences like Virtuoso
Oh,
Travel
yeah.
Week.
They offer those things like kind of in different cities in Europe. Like there's like London, there's like outside of Spain and France, like all over the place. So it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's going shopping and there's window shopping, but if you're someone who like knows what you want, whether it's like big name brands or boutique brands, most people
Mhm.
want brands. I mean, a lot of my clients are in New York, so they're very accustomed to seeing sort of the famous brands that are here, that are in Paris, that are all in big cities. So they want like the smaller shops that you're only getting through these little boutique designers. So yeah, it was always really fun to learn what is out there.
Yeah, awesome. So what did you do like besides like talking and meeting people? Did you have any like good food or good,
Oh my gosh, I had so much good.
good
Thank you for
stuff?
asking because I love good food. Din Tai Fun was incredible. Yellowtail, the food at Yellowtail. Oh my gosh, I had one of the best sushi meals of my life there. And they have this at every Yellowtail, but one of my favorite things I tried was tuna pizza, believe it or not. was a really thin crust and like tuna sashimi and some microgreens, some little jalapeno, and the tiniest taste of truffle as well. Truffle, I love truffle oil can take over sometimes, so it's not everyone's favorite. But I tell you, this was one of my absolute favorite things. It was a really delicious dinner. Also, dinner, I had a lunch at Spago, which was pretty incredible. So yeah, a lot of it's funny. Vegas, you don't always think of as a foodie destination, but there are some of the best well-known chefs have incredible restaurants
Yeah.
in Las Vegas. It is not the cheapest place to eat. I will just straight up say that. And as someone who lives in New York, I'm accustomed to expensive restaurants. Vegas takes it to another level though when it comes to that. So just be prepared. If you're going to Vegas, anyone, just be prepared. You're gonna have great meals, but they may be a little bit more expensive than you're used to paying.
But worth it.
Yeah, but absolutely worth it. Listen, you're on vacation. You gotta take care of yourself, right? So self-care is very
Exactly.
important. Where are you going next? Do you have any upcoming travel plans to tell us about?
Yes, I do. So, in a few weeks, speaking of Virtuoso, I'm going on a Virtuoso study tour, which is
Cool.
basically just a few handpicked select Virtuoso advisors. I'm going to Nashville with
Oh, have fun.
the tourism board of Nashville. And I'm so excited about this because I really want to learn more about domestic destinations that are kind of easy for my clients to get to, whether it's like part of a longer road trip, something, or just like a long, luxurious weekend that you want to take and explore somewhere new. And Nashville seems to like, I'm so excited. We just went over the itinerary earlier this week.
Hmm.
I get to go to the Grand Ole Opry. There's like a special, like a VIP experience we're having. We're seeing the National Museum of African American History. We're doing an experience of wine tasting at the Bell Mead. I'm doing a Google Cluster workshop, which is, do you know what a Google Cluster is, Josh?
No, tell me about Google Cluster.
Okay, because I did not know about this before, and I feel like cheated that I have gone my whole life not knowing what a Google Cluster is. It's
I just
like,
want to say Google
yeah,
Cluster
obviously,
a few times.
so I'm gonna have a lot of fun at this workshop saying it and also making it. I'll learn a lot more. I'll report back afterward, but it's like chocolate it's like peanut cluster with marshmallow and caramel, like all covered in
Okay, I'm
chocolate, and I get
interested.
to make my own. And I get to stay
Okay,
at a
Google
couple of gorgeous
Cluster.
hotels. That'll be my nickname, Google Cluster. And yeah, so that's where I'm going next. What about you?
Oh my gosh. Coming next, I'm going in about 2 weeks for an entire week to Ireland. I'm going to be going with their official tourism board as well. I, funny enough, do not have all of the details to share yet. So it's going to be one of those, let me tell you about it after the trip. I do believe we're going to be staying in at least one, if not two, castles in Ireland. I believe we're spending a couple of nights at Dromoland Castle. It's not confirmed. So I know, I know. Yeah, I first learned about
That's like one
Dromoland
of my
Castle
bucket
about 2 years
list
ago.
places to stay.
It is one of my bucket list places to stay to, and I think it's happening. So fingers crossed. I should be getting the full itinerary. It's one of those things where the tourism board is going so deep into this itinerary and where we're going
Right.
that they want to make sure that we have all of the details ironed out before they share them. So I do know that we're going to at least the one castle, allegedly. I do believe we're going into Northern Ireland, which will be a new country for me. I've not been to Northern
Oh, yeah,
Ireland
I'm
yet.
dying to go there too. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous of this trip.
Yeah, oh my God, I cannot wait. It's only a few weeks away. We did have to get the, oh my gosh, the special visa that you need to get for Americans to get into the United Kingdom. And obviously, Ireland is not part of the UK, but Northern Ireland is. So I did have to get that visa, which let us know that, yes, we're going into Northern Ireland. So we're going to be doing sort of circumventing the entire Ireland, the entire island. So we're going to be flying in and out of Dublin and sort of going around the perimeter of the country. So stay tuned for that. That's my September trip. And then after that, I'm going on my first time to Provence. I'm going on an Ama Waterways river cruise. We're going to be doing 3 nights in Paris beforehand. Then we'll be taking the train down to Lyon. And then from Lyon, we'll be doing a 7 night river cruise down the Rhone, which is going to end in Arles. We're going to be visiting Avignon. Oh my God, I cannot wait for all of the spots on this river cruise and to eat in Lyon. I mean, some of the best restaurants in the world are there. So that's going to be a very incredible highlight of that trip. Culinary trips, as you
And
know, is like
wine, I
my
imagine.
thing.
Wine, yeah.
Yes, wine, food. Oh my God, cheese, bread, like all the. It's funny. We all talk about fancy food, but really, at the end of the day, all I want is like wine and bread and cheese. Like, let's be honest. And then we're
Okay.
going to Barcelona for 3 nights after that. But Ireland, I like cannot wait to go to Ireland.
Have you never been to Ireland before?
I've been one time, but I've only been to Dublin and a small town near Dublin called Hoth, which was absolutely beautiful. It's one of
Yeah.
those places that if you're staying in Dublin and you want to get to someplace green that's under an hour train ride from the city, it's a really good place to go for a day trip if you're kind of limited. So those are the places that I've been before, but now I'm going to get to see a lot more of the country. And that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Ireland for the first time 20 or over 20 years ago. And then I went again last year and just the difference. It's just so places
Oh my
change,
gosh. Yeah, of
you think you're
course.
going you're like all nostalgic and you're like, "Oh, this has changed a lot." And I found that with Barcelona and, all these places. And I find that a lot with my clients too cuz like a lot of clients come like that have gone somewhere 20 years ago and they're like, "Oh, I want to go back to this place and that place." I'm like, you got to like make a reservation 6 months in advance. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't just
yeah, yeah.
stroll into the museum anymore. So it's interesting to see how places have changed over time.
I know it is very wild. What's your hot take on Japan?
My hot take on Japan is
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure you have one.
incredible. But my hot take is that we should start veering off the golden route. Now, if you know anything about
Mm,
Japan, it's golden route. Like everyone that goes to Japan, and probably if you're on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, like you'll see everyone's going to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, which is where I went. But it's also the most highly touristed route. That's what everybody does, right? And again, like what I was just saying about like when you go somewhere 20 years ago and now, like I went to Kyoto for the first time in 2007 and I went back again, a couple weeks ago and it was like unrecognizable with the number of
wow.
tourists and just so
Sure.
crowded. And that doesn't mean that it's not worth seeing, but it's also worth seeing outside of that too, because I feel like you get more authentic Japan. You get more of the authentic culture,
Mhm.
fewer, things that are catered to tourists, fewer tourists in general. And it's less daunting than you might think to go somewhere that is outside of a touristed region, especially in Japan, because like everyone is so friendly. And now you have things like Google Translate. When I went to Japan 20 years ago, I went to this town called Atami, where there was not a single English speaking
Oh my
person in
gosh.
this. And we went there because it was like for Keiko said, "Oh, if you want like an onsen experience, you want like a ryokan. This is where everyone in Japan goes to vacation for that." So I was like, "Cool," but like not realizing there was like zero English signage, no clue how to get around, and this was pre Google Translate.
Yeah,
But
language
everyone,
barriers are a very real
yeah,
thing, or they
bring
can
Google
be.
Maps. Google Translate. I'm like, my husband and I walking around with like paper map, and we're like, I don't, and like all these like kanji characters, we're like, I don't know where I'm going, and it's like this big mountain town. But everyone was so friendly, helping us. And nowadays, you don't even, you have Google Maps and Google Translate. It's very easy to get
Hmm.
around without it. And so, like for example, I just came back from Japan. I'm working on another Japan. I do a lot of my clients go to Japan. Same time.
I love
And
that.
so I have a client that I'm designing a family vacation for next summer. And for many people, Japan is a once in a lifetime trip. You want to see the touristy things, but you also want that balance. So we're sending them on
Yes.
the Golden Route, but we're also sending them to Nagoya, which is less populated. And they're gonna. I don't want to give away what they're doing yet,
No, no,
but we have
I
some
think that's so
really,
smart. Because
really
absolutely,
special
like,
cultural experiences there.
yeah, like you take sort of those cities as an anchor that maybe a couple of places along that golden route, and then have some local places nearby. So that way, maybe you have a base, maybe it's day trips, maybe you're staying, in two of the places on the golden route and one place that's nearby, someplace like that. I love that kind of planning because then you are getting, the once in a lifetime destinations, but then you're also getting a little bit deeper into the culture. Because I think travel is all about connecting with people, the local culture, things that you're not getting to do at home, not necessarily having every destination be optimized for us as American tourists, but rather us as visitors and taking in a new culture and learning from them and tasting new things and trying new experiences and going outside our comfort zone. So that's really cool. I love that approach.
Yeah. Even though we stayed in Kyoto, but we kind of did what you just said. We took a day trip to Uji, which is we took a private tour. We had an amazing private tour guide who was
Oh,
actually
so good.
his dad was American, his mom was Japanese, and he lives in Kyoto. And so it was really cool because he was American, but also Japanese. It was like perfect for us because he related to us, but also like had us dive deep in the culture. And he told us that Uji is kind of like what Kyoto was 20 years ago or whatever. He was like, and I feel like it's going to go next. It's going to be the next touristy place. So get to Uji before it's
That
too
is good
crowded.
advice. I have to get to Uji. Get yourself to Uji. Um, Very good. This was so fun to catch up and to talk about these things. I think next week I'll probably have to share some hot take on Italy, probably
Ooh.
something having to do with someplace very popular like Florence. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Ooh.
We'll figure that out. But for now, it was really good chatting, and we'll have more travel hot takes for you later.
Yes, it was so awesome catching up. But I
Bye. Talk to you later.